Good evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this BenQ webinar. My name is Maurice Jager. I am going to talk to you about personal branding for photographers today. This webinar is scheduled to run for an hour. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to ask your question. I'll either answer the question during the presentation or I'll take questions at the end. So make sure you write your questions down and let's see where we can take it from here. And let's talk about some personal branding, and hopefully you get inspired to up your own personal brand as a photographer. So I have a presentation to present, and I'm going to talk through the slides, and it's gonna we're gonna just get started. It's 7 p.m. here in Europe in sunny the Netherlands. So let's go. So I'll just here we go. So before we jump into the slides, let me introduce myself real quick. First of all, I am a photographer. I'm that handsome fella on that image. So that's me. There's a couple of images throughout the presentation that I use in my own personal brand. I'm also a speaker. I speak on behalf of BenQ and other sponsors on trade shows, and I speak for corporations and talk about personal branding. I consider myself a personal branding expert. It's a self-proclaimed title, and I run an agency called Your Message Online, where I help corporations, businesses with their personal brand and their messaging online. I do have a podcast, which is coincidentally called Personal Branding for Photographers. It's available on all platforms. So if you want to learn more about personal branding and listen to me interview successful photographers about what they're doing with their personal brand, that's definitely the podcast to go check out. And I am an author, and I'm the author of the book Personal Branding for Photographers. It's available in Dutch and English. You can grab a copy at personalbrandingforphotographers.com/book, or go to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. For the Dutch people, I don't know, bull.com. It's pretty much everywhere. So feel free to go nuts. I appreciate it. So what is personal branding before we actually go into building one? So my definition for personal branding is that personal branding is a process of creating opportunities for people to get to know you and connect with you at a personal level in order to create trust in your abilities to help them with their goals. That's a long sentence and a mouthful, but the most paramount words in this description, if you will, is the word process, because it's not just one activity, it's a continuous process, and you just have to keep at it and stick to it and adapt and change and continue what works. And how you find out what works and what doesn't, we're gonna talk about a little later in this webinar. And the other prominent thing is that you want to create opportunities for people to get to know you. Personal branding is not sharing your work and having people Flickr back in the day, awesome shot and stuff like that. It's all nice and it really helps people's ego, but it's not personal branding, and it's not connecting with people on a personal level. So you do want to share stuff that is relatable to your audience, or what important to you, so you can attract people that have similarities, and you find the common denominator, and it's easier to build a conversation based on that. So results of my personal branding is that I create awareness, so people get to know who I am. I filter out clients that aren't a fit. If they don't like me, please don't come to the studio. It's easy as that. They're usually a pain to work with, and we're just not a match. So it's a great way for me to filter out the headaches. Having a personal brand also makes me become an authority in my community. And the community is a very broad description of if you're in a small city, that could be your community. If you work in a particular niche, that could be your community. Like community is not like I want to like have like 1,000 people on my list, or I want to like inspire every photographer on the planet. It's more about like how, like, what do you think your community is, and what is, like, how do you identify your own community? Which are the people that you want to talk to, and who are the people that you want to appeal to and get to know? And one of the results of my personal branding, basically based off that, like filtering out clients that aren't a fit, is that I'm a much happier photographer, because I don't have to deal with people that are like not a fit, and I can just like do stuff that gets me excited. So what is personal branding not? Like I just said before, it's not one activity, it's a process. It's a continuous thing. It's not like sit down on a Saturday afternoon. It's like, yeah, I'm going to spend 2 hours and build my personal brand. No, I've been building my personal brand for the last 7 years, and it's still going, and I'm still like taking time out of my day to continuously build. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. And it's like you show your face. Like I show my face a lot, and I use that as a way for people to like get to know me, because then they can put a face to the name, and I tell the story about what happened, and they get to know me. But it's not an ego thing. It's more of an honest, authentic way of presenting myself. But it's also not the answer to everything. It's an opportunity to create awareness in a unique and organic and human way. It's connecting with people. That's probably the most important thing, but it's not the answer to everything. Like if you start your personal brand today, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna have 17 clients tomorrow. It's the long game, and it's not the answer to everything. Like there's still like advertisement and stuff like that, which I personally don't do anymore. But there's other avenues. But personal branding for me works best. So personal branding to me is all about standing out in the crowd by sharing who I am and answer people's need to know why I am the right person to help them become a better person. If that makes sense. Like I want these people to understand that I'm the best option. And a lot of that happens on social media. But social media is like, it's so congested, and it's so like there's so many people, and everybody cares about the numbers. Like these are like my numbers. I think like I guess they change a lot, and I honestly really don't care much. Like if I would lose half my Instagram followers tomorrow, I would be totally okay. And here's why: because the numbers don't matter, the quality matters, and the value of my network matters, and the value I add to my own network matters even more. And like I would rather have 100 people that actually give, like care about me and care about what I'm posting, and care about my story, and like really like are invested in the things I talk about, then like these 100 people are way more valuable than 1,000 people that are just like, I don't know, hanging out, like not doing anything, like not ever having these people in my studio, or like not even have a conversation. Like on LinkedIn, like my 12 point something, what, I don't know what it is today, because I don't really pay attention to it, or to the number at least, but I always talk to the same people, and like it's not 12,000 people. It's like it's the same group of people. So like I decline invitations actually. Like if there's somebody that like reaches out, and I'm like, I have no idea why you're reaching out to me, I am just gonna decline the invitation. Like I don't know, like the cryptocurrency people that want to sell you stuff, and like if the invitation straight from the get-go is like, here's what I do, you need me kind of thing, I X out immediately, like out the door, decline, get out. So, and that's what a lot of people do to me probably too, if I would sell immediately. So I don't care about the numbers. I just want people that I relate to, and my story relates to them. So personal branding is the long game. So I always say, like, hold thy horses, because you have to put in the work. It's a long game, and it's also taking control of your own business and marketing. Like, you are in charge of what you share, and you are in charge of posting and what you tell. And if you think posting on social media and having tons of followers is the answer, you are absolutely mistaken, because it's not. Like, I have, I don't know, 20 something thousand on Instagram, and this is the last time I'm going to mention a number. I think I shot maybe 20 of them, and that's it. Like, all the other people are just like liking my work, or like, I don't know, I get like 200-300 likes on an image or something, like, and it's like, it's fine, but thank you for following, but it's not necessarily my community, if you will. So I created, or I came up with this term called interactive personal branding. So I want to be interactive with people. I want to talk to people. I want to have conversations, because that's where the magic happens. Because I need people to, like, I want to give people an incentive to reach out to me. And that's why I call it interactive, because usually social media is very much like sending, like dumping posts on a platform, and then getting a bunch of likes, and that's it. But and comments maybe, but I want people to like get into my DMs and get into my inboxes and have conversations with them. And that's why it's important, because then you can talk on a deeper level with people, and you can build that relationship and nurture that relationship, or start a relationship, without going into sales funnels and all of that stuff. So I call it interactive personal branding, but it's not a wait and see game. It's not like I post stuff and then I wait for the number on the inbox go up, because I want to stay in control of my business and the future of my business and my personal brand. And I started doing that, and I started doing this on LinkedIn. Like, I am predominantly a headshot and portrait photographer who serves the business to business community. So LinkedIn for me is a perfect platform to do just that. And I started like grabbing statistics in a tool, because I was just like curious to see like what would happen. And I think these numbers are 2017 and 2018, because I stopped using the tool a couple of years ago, because it was like, I don't know, it costed a couple dollars a month, and I wasn't using it that much. But I still have that screenshot from back then, sharing my numbers. And like, when I was just like posting occasionally and not really like listening to my audience, and just like sharing stuff, what like my work, and then like I had a great session with this person and here's the shot, and not very inspirational at all. In a year's time, I had like, I don't know, not even close, like 6,000 views. Let's call it 6,000, and I got like, I don't know, 200 and something likes, comments. Nobody shared it. Nobody gave anything about my content. It wasn't worth sharing to anybody. My engagement was okay. And then apparently I posted 339 posts in that year. And then the next year, I almost hit 7,000 views, 700,000 views. The likes were growing. The comments were growing. 49 people felt the need to share what I was sharing, and my engagement rate dropped significantly. But a lot of people focus on that engagement rate number, and I don't, because like I dropped 98%, which is like totally fine, because I need people to see me. Like, in the couple of slides before, I mentioned awareness, and awareness equals views. And the views is the awareness, and that's what I care about. It's pretty much like, how much airtime do I get? And that's why I focus more on that number than on any of the other ones. The views go up by like, if people like it get expanded in the network, like all of that algorithm mumbo jumbo. But I became more interactive and I started talking to people in my inboxes, and I got more reach, more clients, and importantly, better clients. And I did all of that by showing who I am, or who I was back then and who I am today. And I attracted those I actually love to serve. And it is totally not a full-time job either, because I'm not a social media expert. I'm not, or like a social media, like what is like social media manager, I guess. Um, and I'm a photographer. I don't want to spend hours on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So I do the 10-10-10 rule. I publish content for 10 minutes. I interact with the content in my network, and like on the feeds, if you will, and then I respond to other people's content. And I do that based on hashtags, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a really cool way to search for content based on keywords. And if somebody like, I can go into the search box and type in personal branding and hit the content filter, and I get all the posts of like people talking about personal branding. And then I can filter on first, second, and third degree connections, and I usually go for second. And I see what these people say, like the people that are a second degree connection to me. So what they say, and I interact with them, and that's like where we find a common denominator, and I help them, like we get in touch, and that's kind of how I built the network that I have. So where to start? So my focus is always on my profiles. I'm making sure that everything is up there. Like people can find me, people can reach out to me. Like I make sure that my phone number and my email and all of that stuff is right top, front, center of my profile. Like in, for example, LinkedIn, they have this like bio or summary or whatever they call it. And the first two lines on my LinkedIn summary or biography is my phone number and my email. And then it's my story. And then I repeat the phone number and the email on the bottom. And if people go on the mobile app, before they click read more, they already have my information. So I do the interactive networking. I'm taking control over my social media. I create tons of content. I have approximately 1,700 social media posts ready to get published, and I share my ideas and talk about things that are current events and how it applies to my business, and let people know that I'm staying innovative. So let's go through this thing. So I make sure my social media profiles are up to date. This is my LinkedIn page. Before I did a prune because I got rid of some followers. This is like my website homepage. It's the first thing people will see when they want to learn more about you. So I have this biography there, and people can actually double check that is actually me. I use a page on my website, mauricejager.com/Instagram, which is pretty much like a link tree, but then on my own website, so I can make it look a little nicer with images and stuff. So it's that's like my personal link tree kind of alternative. I do the interactive networking. Like I've been talking about myself a lot during this webinar because I guess that's the thing with webinars. But I am very much in conversation, usually asking about other people, and I pay attention to what they say, because what people say is important, because then I can respond accordingly, and not just like send whatever and see what sticks to the wall. I usually start off conversations by asking questions, and not anything personal that per se, but also not like what do you think about the weather, but like I go into conversation business wise pretty quickly, and like have these people talk about them. I do the interactive networking based on a couple of steps. It starts with content. Like if people engage on the content, like the comments, or like people engage on other people's comments, and I like what they're saying, if they respond to my comment, I send them a message, and I tell them like, okay, I really enjoyed your comment. Like, what did you think about the way I presented this particular topic or whatever? And they talk, and then we go into conversation. I did a post on Instagram, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I did like this huge link that nobody could copy, and everybody started DMing me like, hey, what's the link? It's like, hey, why are you interested in clicking the link? What do you want to learn? And we started a conversation, which is to me way more important than having like 4 link clicks and the algorithm burying the post. So it's all about the conversational thing to me. So, and then what I do is I reach out a lot to people that I worked with, people that I shot in the past, past clients, people from my past corporate life. I'm always like checking in on people to make sure like what's going on in their life, and those are the easiest relationships to make sure like the relationship is there. So it's easy to continue that relationship by occasionally checking in. And that's not a daily thing. Like that's like, I don't know, like maybe every 6 months or something. I go through my old DMs and go, hey, what's going on in your life today? And some of these people need my service, some people don't. And that's perfectly fine. It's all about the human to human interaction that I'm after. And sometimes these people don't know they need my service or they don't realize it. And if they ever need what I have to offer, I'm going to be top of mind. So it's at the end, at some point, I will shoot them or photograph them rather. So I send five different people a message every single day, and I'm not selling them on anything. I'm just talking to them. Then content to me is important. There's like I share my expertise, my skills, my personality, like life events, thoughts, like pretty much like whatever pops in my brain. I have a like a what's that app like Todoist on my phone, and it has a project, I guess it's called, in Todoist, and it's called Random Ideas. And whenever something pops in my brain, I just like dump it in there. And when I'm ready to create more content, I'm going through this random idea list, and I'm just like picking all these ideas, find an image that visually punctuates the story, and then it's getting scheduled. And it's all about like staying on top of mind. I post daily, so that's why I'm always in need for more content and just want to like tell my story. So I create my content um, by having ideas, a structure, my audience obviously, and then I choose a platform. And it's obvious, like to me, it's not difficult to create lots of content, but it definitely can be hard, if that makes sense. Because like you can create anything, but it's sometimes it's difficult or it's hard to like get the inspiration, or like when you're not used to it, you can just like kind of get like a writer's block, or like just like what am I going to share. So it can be hard, but it is definitely not difficult. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I built my content based off my ideas, but you can also do it vice versa by getting ideas based off a structure. So all my individual content pieces, they are tied to chapters of my personal brand story, as I call it, and it creates structure for new content ideas as well. So my structures or my chapters that I have are pretty much these. So it's who am I? What's my background story? Like what happened? Why did I become a photographer? Why do I like sports? Because I used to be in sports. All of these stories, like I talk about how others see me. Like if somebody like writes a review, or somebody like says something funny during a session, or like anything, I share that. I also share my goals on social media, because I strongly believe that if you share your goals, you give people the opportunity to help you attain them. So when I want to, like, when I have like some crazy idea, I just post it on social. Like, I want to shoot like a TV celebrity or whatever, and like sometimes people go like, "Hey, I know this guy. Let me reach out," or whatever. And it's like people want to help, and that's I want to give people the opportunity to actually help me. So that's why I share that. I also share the tools of the trade. So that's like behind the scenes, like my camera gear, my awesome BenQ monitors that I use on a daily basis. I don't know, my tether tools gear, like anything that I use. But even like books that I read, or I don't know, like random things. Like, I don't know, an iPhone stand that I love to use when I'm on my desk, or like want to like share a screen on an iPhone in a conversation, or like anything is an item. And like I got an NFL helmet in one of the shelves. Like there's a story there. Like anything that has a story is in my tools of the trade chapter. And then obviously we want to like earn some cash. So I also talk about my offers and what how I can help people. But that's not the majority of my story, and is definitely not um, the heaviest chapter when we are weighing them, because not all the chapters are equally important. These are about the percentages that I use um, to like make sure that there's a nice little mix between all the different chapters in my story that I'm telling. Like sometimes these percentages vary a little bit, but it's also like like it's pretty much like it's right around here where I usually land with my social posts. And we as photographers are so lucky because we know how to take images. And you probably already have a library filled with your work, but a lot of photographers don't really turn the camera around and shoot themselves. I am very lucky to have a couple of photographer friends who take some behind the scenes of like me running around doing crazy stuff. And they're happy to share the wealth and let me use the images. But like there's iPhones, there's like anything, there's like nothing more powerful than combining your client work with your behind the scenes and personal images. Like everybody wants to read a good story, and since the world is getting more visual by the day, it's definitely advisable to start creating image content for yourself, to like show your face and show your process and show what you're doing and all of that cool stuff that happen to happen in your life on a daily basis. It's grabbing that phone and using it to its full potential because it happens to have a perfectly working camera, even though like we are pro photographers and we kind of like I don't know, cell phone shots and all of that. But like this thing is always available. Like the phone is always like within I don't know, a foot from where I'm at. So it's the easiest device to leverage in creating your own content. It's available. You can create unique and interesting images because like all of the software that's on this phone these days, and it's obviously easy to use. But like, um, don't take my word for it. Bright Blue, or Bright Local actually, is did some research on this exact topic, and they researched business owners and what images that they used and how much trust a company gets from the images used on their websites. So when the business owners on the website, there's significantly more trust in the business than when there's no image or a generic image. Like this, the charts pretty much like tell the story. And they found that when you share more of your personality, you inspire your audience to trust you and your business and your products and services more. And I think that's like the research that like kind of like confirms my story. And I think that that's like paramount, and I see more businesses doing it, and I definitely shoot more businesses that are taking this advice to heart. So why don't we as photographers, like, we create the most amazing work for our clients, but then for some reason we are camera shy. At least not everybody, but like the majority of what I see. But there's baby steps. There's baby steps. Like, if you're anything like me, you have hundreds, maybe thousands of images on your camera roll, so you can start like going through them and just like I favorite all the shots that I want to share at some point. So I have all the shots available to me on my phone, and personally, I export them into my Google Drive and then use them on my computer and resize them and do all of the fun stuff and post them through my computer. And that's my process. There's tons of it. Like, I don't know, I think I have like 40,000 images on my iPhone, and I think there's like a couple thousand in my favorites over the years. But that's the stuff. Like, if you don't want to start shooting yourself yet, go through your old work and see what's going on. Um, and then there's this. It's called the Hawthorne effect. Some professor or assistant professor who's in the Netherlands researched the way that people and machines communicate. And she found out the thing called Siri shame. Like, people feel embarrassed when they talk to their phone and ask like their voice assistant to do something. And the same effect exists when you turn your camera around in public and shoot yourself or take a picture of yourself. And that's like human behavior, and that's totally okay, because she found out that when people are watching you, you behave differently. Like, we notice this with our clients. When we point a camera at somebody's face, they start acting differently. If you stand next to the camera and talk to them, they're doing okay. The minute you like walk to the viewfinder, you kind of like see their demeanor change. And the same happens when you know you're being watched, and that's perfectly fine. This because that's like the way you feel, but you're the only person that feels weird. Like, nobody else really cares too much about what you're doing. They're just watching you do stuff that they're not doing, so they think it's interesting, and you feel weird, which is kind of strange, to be honest. So the worst thing that can happen is actually nothing, and besides creating content for your business and audience. So I decided a while ago to get over it, and this is me taking a selfie of myself on the Photo Plus Expo trade show floor in New York City. And somebody took a shot of me taking a shot, and I didn't know about it. He sent me the shot later, and I was like, hey, you were watching? Cool. And thanks for the shot. I can use that. So he handed me the shot, and it's popping up on my social media every now and then. If you wanna learn to use your iPhone better and like get better self-portraits instead of selfies, my friend John Amato created a full-blown coursey thing about it. So make sure that you go to johnamato.com/SIY. Let's talk about your audience and how to figure out where your audience is. That didn't go well. Okay. So I choose my audience and my platform wisely, because I do not want to spend hours and hours on like all these platforms these days. Like, I don't know how many there are. Like, we got the Facebooks, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. I don't know. There's so many. And I decided to I spent my time on either LinkedIn and Instagram, and I don't spend my time on Facebook much. And here's why: because my audience isn't on Facebook. I do not nobody ever on Facebook reached out to me to get a headshot taken or to get a branded portrait session taken. Like, I don't know who's on my Facebook, but it's definitely not people that want to work with me for some reason. So I focus on LinkedIn, because everybody uses their headshots on LinkedIn, and I use Instagram because that's the photographer or the photography platform, and I have a bunch of photographers follow me there, and that's like for my photographer audience, and for my client audience, it's predominantly LinkedIn. And how do I figure out like where people spend their time? So you can either ask them when you work with them. That's what I do. And what I also did is I posted my content across all platforms for 2 weeks, like straight, like every day, the same time, the same content, the same image, the same copy, everything exactly the same at the same time, like, and made sure that I did that for 2 weeks straight. And then I looked at which platform generated the most reach and interaction, and I stuck to that platform because that's where people were paying attention at the time I wanted them to pay attention. And that's when I found out that LinkedIn was working for me and Instagram was working for me. So that's the way I found out about exactly that. And like if you were more into, like, I don't know, like shooting family portraits or weddings, like Facebook could be huge, but and maybe like another Instagram, or but like, for me it didn't work. So that's why I decided to like stick with what I have at this point. So as I mentioned, I wrote a book called Personal Branding for Photographers. It is available to you. I will be taking questions in a minute, by the way. So if you have any questions, start typing so we can start taking questions and getting answers ready. Since BenQ is so kind to like help me host this webinar, we BenQ made a discount code available for those in Europe. It's 10% off on the SW and the PD series monitors, and it's available from today, and it's going to last for a month. So make sure that if you're in the market for one of these amazing hardware calibrated photographer geared monitors, get yourself one with a nice little discount, if that's what you're looking for. I love mine. I got 5 of them. I just like crazy. So this is the part where I want to trade your questions to my answers. So let's see who has a question. I have absolutely no questions at this point in my question queue. So it was either a very awesome story or people decided to fall asleep and left the building. So feel free to ask me questions because I am here right now, and we can talk about specifics or like any situations you want to discuss, or if you want to talk about content or like anything. So shoot and let me know what you have. We'll give people a minute to type. Alrighty, we're off to the races. So let me see if I can. All right, Ricardo Salvo. Sorry if I mess up your name. Are there still ways to leverage your brand on out of the social media? Definitely. Like social media is pretty much free publication or like free attention. So, and it's not like I don't want to be the next Gary Vaynerchuk, or like, I don't know, like some huge influencer or whatever the term is these days. I just want to reach people that matter to me and who I can matter to. And that's the most important thing to me. So I, like, if you have a following of 15 and these people love you, absolutely love you, have a brand on social media. And if you can make a living off these 15 because you sell, I don't know, $10,000 weddings, hey, good on you. You're absolutely going for the races. So that's definitely happening, and it's sure, like there's ways, and it like I said, it's a long game. So you just need to like start somewhere and start with something and learn, adapt, see what works, and just tell the stories and see what happens. Like the more personal you get, the more people will get to know you and probably like you. And some people just check out and unfollow, and that's fine too. Christopher Brian asked if I pre-schedule my content. Yes, I do. I use a tool called SmarterQ, which has the benefit of of me building a queue, and then let's say I post something today. I have a queue of, I don't know, like close to 1,700 posts, or maybe a little over. And when I post item number one, the item goes to the bottom of the queue, so it's going to be number 1,700, and then number two becomes number one. And this helps me to take the pressure off creating content every day or every week, because my content is written evergreen. And evergreen means without any mention of time or day. And the benefit of writing evergreen content is that I can pretty much post it whenever I want, because I don't mention a specific moment in time. And a lot of people really don't care if I did something on a particular Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock. It's not relevant to the story. So by taking the time out of the equation, I take the pressure off posting continuous or writing continuously, or like spending a lot of time on the social media platform, if that makes sense. And then it kind of like it started from there. Like I started with like, I don't know, like 50 posts, and then it's like I just build and build and build, and at some point I ended up with 1,800. And I take stuff out and I add new stuff, and but it at least it's like a revolving wheel, so it kind of works pretty well. Angie Meyer asked, what would you suggest when someone starts new with the business? No clients so far. I can tell you what I did when I started, I don't know, 8 years ago. I have a background in corporate. I worked a lot with C-level executives, and I decided to become a headshot photographer. So these people need the headshots. At least I thought they needed headshots. So I reached out to 20 of my peers from corporate world, and I told them, hey, it's June. Let's take June, for example. If you come in this month, I'm starting this new business. I'm out of the corporate world. If you come in this month, I'll shoot you. I'll take your shot. You can use it. Like, I don't care. Like, you can pay whatever the heck you want. But I want you to send me 5 of the people that you think would love this service too, if you love what I'm doing. So the next month, out of these 20 people or 25 people, 15 responded and showed it up in the studio. And the next month I had 35 clients, and the month after I had 50, and it kind of developed from there. But I think like it's important to get out in the community and just like reach out to people that you see as the people you want to work with, and start building that trust. I think that's important. And then like having these conversations, and definitely not sell them on. People don't want to be sold anything, so it makes no sense to like do hard sell, because people will hate it, and you're not building relationships, you're building transactions, and you're not building a sustainable relationship with these people going forward. I got hello from Greece. Hey, hello from the Netherlands. Thank you for checking in. Which is your professional subject to photography? Which is your professional subject to photograph? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Which is your professional subject to photograph? I have no idea what you mean. Like the people I photograph, any professional, pretty much corporations. For some reason I shoot more men than women. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the tone of my content. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the lighting I use. Maybe it's, I don't know. But I'm trying to understand the questions. Christopher said, more specifically, your posts. Okay, are you pre-scheduling your content? Yes, I am pre-scheduling my posts. I think that kind of was answered. I don't know what that means. Please, can you repeat the name of the photographer who wrote about self-portraits with iPhone? Yes, sir. I can do you one better. We can just go back to the slide. Here it is. It's popping up. Yep, that's the one. Feel free to take a shot of the screen and check him out later. Let's go back to the Q&A page. Here we go. When you are a beginner, is it okay to make your page public if you have only few work to show, or how is it recommended to do until you have more work to show? Comment Rob or Rob. I think I show anywhere between 18 and 24 images of different people on my website. And if you lay out your website in a way that it's not super image heavy, then you're fine with, I don't know, 6-10 shots, as long as they're showing your work and give people an understanding of what you do, and make sure there's consistency so people understand what they're actually getting. Like if your work is all over the place and people have a difficulty understanding what you're actually doing, take it off or create a different page. Don't mix and match things, but make sure that my branding shots are not on my headshot page and vice versa. My headshot, my booking page, I think has 8 images on it, and that's it. And then I have my portfolio buried in the footer somewhere, and nobody ever looks at that thing. It's there when people ask me what's your portfolio, and then I show them all 24. But I think my sales page only has 8 or maybe 10 headshots on there, and that's enough for these people to convince them to work with me based off the copy and the way I position my work and my session and how I talk about what they're getting and the experience that they will have. So I'm guessing get 10 awesome shots and you're good. And if you want to show more, show more. Anybody can get 10 shots. So put in some effort and get it going, I guess. Hi, to be honest, I don't like to spend time on this kind of thing, but I realize it's important. Any tips to do this with low effort and reasonable success? Jan Torfs. Well, we can virtually shake hands, because I don't like spending hours on creating social content either. So one of the biggest tips is to, what I mentioned before, go evergreen and keep the mention of time and date out of the equation. Write your copy in either a Google Doc or a Google spreadsheet or whatever. And if you're strapped for a post that day, go into your spreadsheet and grab something. And if you I have my moments of inspiration where I just sit down for an hour and come up with 20 social posts, and then just write it, and then find the images later and schedule. And I think I do that maybe once a month or something. It doesn't have to be that time consuming, and the messaging with people is usually when waiting for clients, or I don't know, I'm stuck in traffic or waiting for my Uber Eats to show up, or stuff like that. and I just like go in and reply to people. Like there's absolutely no reason to like spend like respond to people like within 5 minutes. Like people can wait, and it's perfectly fine. So I'm guessing like that would be my top tip, I guess. We have, what can you do as a photographer when your target audience isn't that much online? Then you find out where they spend their time offline and go there. And that's a little difficult right now with all the COVID stuff, and kind of depending where you are in the world, if it's allowed to meet up again. But usually, people that belong to your audience kind of flock together. They group, they visit the same places. They're like there's similarities with between these people, and finding out that those similarities and what they do to relax, kind of like go there and introduce yourself and just have conversations with them. Just like, I don't know, like going to a bar and meeting new people, kind of the same thing, but then uh, the people that you want to work with without like going, like, I kind of like, when I first started the whole networking thing, I went to like a networking event, and all I did was the same 30-second sales pitch, business card, handing out mumbo jumbo stuff, and didn't really work. And then I stopped bringing business cards, and I was just having conversations with people. And that's when these networking events kind of became more successful to me. So just go there and talk to these humans, because everybody has a curiosity. You have one, they have one. So use that. What would be the first thing you say to someone that has a lot of photos but a total mess and hard drives, but actually wants to start a personal brand showing his work? With no clients now, in the in the 2000s, that guy wants to restart activity on social media and making things public. The audience is totally unaware of his work. Nature, wildlife, editorial, landscape. After organizing the hard drives, what could you say to him? That guy is me, by the way. Yeah, I figured that much. Thanks a lot, and say hi to Ricardo Salvo. Okay. Ruben Neves said hi. Oh, from Portugal. Cool. So if you organize your work, um, that's step one. Like, you asking how to organize it? Is that what you asked? Uh, like, I would organize it either by genre, or I organize, because I have a lot of work of myself. Like, I don't know if you have like, I don't know, a friend that can handle an iPhone or whatever. Like, start shooting content that has you in it as well. And I usually organize it in, like, I don't know, outside shots, shots at work, like descriptive things. Like when I'm speaking at conventions, I have an email address in my slide that when people take a shot of me like presenting, I have the email on one of the last slides. Like, if you took a shot, email it here, and if you email it, I might post it, and that's how I like get my user-generated content, if you will. I think the organizing is like a good thing to do. Oh wait, there's a follow-up. Okay, after organizing, what is the first step to make things public and get clients? Personal approach, online forms, websites. Okay, get your website up. Like, don't, like, all these genres that are like not interchangeable. Like, get a page for each genre, or figure out which genre or you like most, and make that the most prominent. Like, I am a people photographer. Like, I shoot brands, like people in branding, and I shoot people in studio. I don't shoot wildlife. I don't shoot weddings. I don't shoot any of that. So there's no mention of it. And I also like, if I take a picture of, like, I don't know, like I'm outside and I take a nice wildlife picture, a hobby, whatever. I post it on social, but I don't post it on my website. I only advertise the work that I want, and not confuse people. And then I think the personal approach works. Like for me, what I mentioned on the LinkedIn's or on the Facebooks, like find out who is, like post something, see if somebody engages based off the hashtags, or find people that have similar interests or have interest in what you offer, and just reach out to these people and start a conversation. That's what I would do to start things. So if I was like, when I started my personal branding angle of my business, I went on LinkedIn, I went into the personal branding hashtag, and I started reading everything about people were posting about personal branding, and if people were looking for how to improve their personal brand and whatever, and I started just interjecting myself into that conversation and adding my experience and my insights rather, to that conversation, and that kind of grabbed their attention, and they started either reaching out to me, or if they replied to my comment, I would connect to them and send them a message. That's usually that's how I would do it if I would start a new business or a new like product or offering. Is there a risk of overloading your audience when you post every day? Is there a too much line not to be crossed? Ricardo Salvo. I honestly don't know. I post every day, and I don't think I think on LinkedIn I had one person complain at some point, and he sent me a message like, dude, I'm gonna unfollow you, you're way heavy on my feed. And the guy wasn't following too many people, so I guess like if you only follow 10 people and I show up every day, then like, and these 9 other people don't post, then yeah, it's a lot. But people follow more and more people these days, so I kind of get away with it. I think like with all, like maybe your audience is different than mine, so I would just like, why not create a social post right now on your social media and say, hey, I want to up my posting on my social media, I want to start my personal brand, I want to start sharing more. What how often a week would you love to hear from me? And create a poll and see what happens. Hey, there's free content. um he said, oh, thanks. Do you share on the social media photos of your work backstage, etc., or videos, or both? Pretty much all of the above. uh, uh, my work, shots of me working like behind the scenes. I have video content up there every now and then. I'm not too heavy on the videos these days. I'm more into the stills. But like pretty much anything, podcast episodes, sound bites, like anything and everything can be shared as long as it's meaningful to your audience. Uh, Angie asked suggestions on pricing, publish prices on my website or not. I always publish my prices. I want people to know my price point because I actually don't want to like answer the phone every hour, people asking my rates, and then it's like, oh, okay, that's a little rich for my taste. I'm sorry, I'm going to look elsewhere. I'd rather have people like read about it on the website and make up their mind and take it from there. If people think I'm expensive, I'm actually not too expensive. But they don't value the work to a monetary level that I do. That's the difference. And those were the questions. Oh, Angie loved it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So we are right at the hour and 38-second marker. So if anybody has like a last minute lightning round question, now is your time. If not, then I'll show you my last slide while we wait for this question. Again, the personal branding is the process of creating opportunities for people to get to know you and being able to create a connection with you. I want to invite you to like find me on my Instagrams or on my LinkedIn or my Facebook or all of that, and follow me and send me a message and let me know what you think, and start that conversation. I would definitely appreciate that. Again, my website, mauricejager.com, and personalbrandingforphotographers.com. And if you ever want to reach out to me personally without the social media, then studio@mauricejager.com. I want to thank you for attending this evening or afternoon. And make sure, if you want to grab a monitor, to use the BenQ code on the screen right now. And I wish you a wonderful day, and we'll talk on the internet, and have fun on all the following webinars that BenQ is hosting. There's awesome speakers always on these webinars. So thank you so much, and I'll talk to you later.